Hey friends, welcome back. Today's conversation is a conversation, and today we are talking with Rita. And Rita, I'm telling you,
Mhm.
she is a breathwork facilitator. And I don't know if that's what you would call yourself, Rita, but I had a session with Rita, and I'm like, hey, you got to come on my channel. We got to have this conversation. We just got to do this so we can bring this sensation to everyone that is going to be here and listening. So, Rita, let's have a conversation today around breath and nutrition and just the nurturing. That's the aspect that I got to get into is more nurturing. And
Yeah.
when you and I connected, that was something that I could just feel in our interaction was this nurturing aspect. So, Rita, welcome. Let's have
Thank
a
you.
fun conversation. Awesome. So, tell me a little bit about breathwork. Tell me, like, how did it find you? Why does it intrigue you? Let's go
hmm
there.
Yeah, amazing. Well, thank you so much for
You're
inviting
welcome.
me to share my story, my expertise, and my passion. You'll soon
Yes.
discover that I'm so passionate about this. I consider myself a woman of many traits, but master of none, basically. Yeah, exactly. That's the saying, right? But I have to say that breath work just literally took my breath away.
Mm.
And I've come across breath work through my yoga practice, right? My own personal yoga practice. And then, of course, when I got certified to become an instructor, pranayama, which is breathing, really, actually, yoga is all about breathing. And then it's the postures, but we have it the other way around. So it's really incorporating the breath. And the breath for me was a gateway to meditation. So I
Mhm.
found meditation really, really hard. The last five, minutes of shavasana, I was like, I cannot stay here. Like, what's going on? My mind, my monkey chatter mind would always like be talking. So then when I tuned into the breath allowed me to slow down and just like really just be. And then I got into the meditation. I'm just like, wow, this is incredible. So that was like maybe 5, 6 years ago. More recently, I discovered the elemental rhythm breathwork experience, which is what you also
Mm.
had.
Okay.
And I just loved it. It was just so transformative, like little things. I got into a fight with my brother. We were very close. We weren't talking for a couple of days, maybe a week. And our egos got in the way, so nobody was apologizing. And I went into a breathwork session and I said, you know what? I just want to forgive him. Whether I forgive him like verbally and actually tell him, or just forgive him in my heart, I just want that as my intention for this breathing experience. I did the breath work. Kid you not, as soon as I left the door, I called my brother and I said, "Okay, I'm sorry. You're an idiot. I'm an idiot. Let's just move forward." Right?
Yeah.
So, and that's how powerful it is. And then also, I don't know if you've heard of the Sunday night jitters or Sunday night anxiety.
Mm.
I've had it for as long as I can remember, just getting really anxious about the work week or the actual week on Sunday, and it would ruin my Sundays. Kid you not, Leann. Like it would,
Mm.
I would not be able to eat lunch. Dinner was spoiled. I could horrible nights rest. And for about 7 years, I was coming to see me. I was my own boss. So why was I nervous or anxious about the work week when it's me I'm coming to see? So traditional psychotherapy or talk therapy, and not like there isn't, it's not valuable. Of course it is. We would probably have to go, when was the first time you felt this anxiety, and go back. And it's usually our parents' fault. Come on, let's face it. But we can't blame them because that's what they knew and that's what they were taught, right? So we can't blame. They didn't have any of this personal development stuff. So basically, if we were to take the talk therapy traditional route, we would have to go back and go into, why is this happening, and get to the root cause. But the breath work, that's why I love about breath work. Literally, I've had clients say, wow, Rita, I've been working on this with my therapist for years, and one
Mm.
breath work session broke that. So breathwork can really get into it really quickly, get to the subconscious mind, tap into that. And like really what happened was, with that anxious feeling, had really nowhere to go because I breathed it out. And kid you not, it's been now 7 months. I have not had this anxious feeling. I don't have it anymore. So that's how powerful the breath was. And so that was my second aha moment with breathwork. But my third one that really, really pushed me to become a breathwork facilitator was when my aunt passed away in
Mm.
2021, and she was fighting an 11-year battle with cancer. One of my best students, always trying some integrative stuff with me, breathwork, movement, of course, nutrition. When we lost her, I was so devastated, and it was just something, because she was in remission, and she was doing so well, and then COVID hit and it really threw everything off. And so I decided, why don't I just use my own tools and create this beautiful meditation? It's actually available on my YouTube channel as well, and breathe the type of breath work that you experience too. And I saw visions of her. I saw
Mm.
beautiful visions of her. She looked beautiful, nothing like, when she passed away. And, like I remembered her, right? Just, telling me, communicating with me, telling me she's in a better place for me to move on. Like, she's even given me like business advice. She's like, start your podcast. And 6 months later, I did, or 5 months later, I did. And that's how we met, by the way, which is
Yes.
amazing, right?
Yes. Yep.
And so
Yep.
that was my aha moment, where I was like, okay, I've just had three incredible transformations, as little as that forgiveness, that little
Yes.
petty fight I had with, or argument I had with my brother, to helping me grieve my aunt's passing and get rid of this anxious feeling that I've had forever. Because again, if we go back to talk therapy, it was probably my dad yelling at me on a Sunday night or Sunday afternoon, get ready for school or something. It startled me for the rest of my life. But again, we didn't have to go that far. I just got rid of it. So it was just an incredible experience that I said, I need to teach this to others. So I'm on a mission now to get as many people as possible breathing correctly, but also using the breath to actually change their state, change their mood, change their mind, and change their life, essentially. Yeah.
Mm. Oh my goodness, I love it. And what I love is that, like, it transports us out of our minds into
Mhm.
our bodies, so that instead of listening to the narration, natter chatter, blah, 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 that's going on, it puts, like, immediately into this connection with this clean, crisp, higher energy field that can provide the answers, right? And really guide us and show us, like, visions of your aunt coming, right? And forgiveness for your brother, right? So that's the piece that I love, especially when you integrate it with human design, because that's what human design is asking us to do. Get out of the natter and chatter and ding, 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 ding of the mind, and drop into the intelligence of the body, because there's so much
Yes.
intelligence there,
Yes.
right?
Exactly.
So here I am speaking to someone that is, like, very wise in this. So I would love for you to share with the audience, like, when we do breath work, when we breathe, like, what's happening in the physiology? What's going on in our bodies that's
Mhm.
actually assisting us? Can you walk into that a little bit?
Yeah, for sure. Well, what I can do is actually talk about functional breathing and dysfunctional breathing. So
Okay, let's
healthy
do that.
breathing and breathing that's not, it's actually harming us for the most part.
Mm,
Yeah.
okay.
And a lot of people are not aware. So if you are okay,
Yes.
we can do a little quick won't call. Well, let's just do something. I won't
Okay,
call. I won't
sure.
call it. I'll just explain what it is and how to do it, and then I'll tell you after. Because if I label it, that might get some people. And of course, people can try this as well. So I'm
Yep.
going to. First, I'll explain it, then I'll demonstrate it, and then we'll actually do it. So
Okay.
basically, what we're going to do is we're going to take 3 natural breaths in and out through the nose, preferably. So in through the nose for sure, out through the nose as well. But if you feel, a lot of people feel uncomfortable doing that, you can also just out through the mouth, just very like just relaxing your jaw and just exhaling through the mouth. But I prefer in and out through the nose. So we'll do that 3 times, just very naturally, whatever the way, cadence, pace, whatever it is for you. So that's different for everybody. So in through the nose, out through the nose, we'll do that 3 times. Then on the third breath, right? When we exhale, once we've emptied out our lungs, so once we've completely exhaled, I invite you to hold the breath and hold the breath for as long as you can. But when you regain, when you have that urge to breathe, it shouldn't be a like a gasping for air. It should be very natural inhale. So that means, because we don't want to go too far. Don't push yourself too far. It's not a competition of who can hold their breath longer. It's more about how much breath can you hold. right? What is your carbon dioxide tolerance, basically? That's what we're
Mm,
trying to do.
okay.
So we'll do that. And then, so Leann, with you, what I need you to do, so once you start holding, just raise your hand.
Right.
And then once you take that inhale, so you let go of the breath hold, then raise your hand again.
Okay.
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 All right. So we're going to start. Maybe I won't demonstrate. I think it's pretty straightforward. We can go right into it, right?
Sure. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So just a regular breath in and a regular breath out. So whatever that is for you, in and then release. Another breath in. And now on the exhale, we're going to empty out the lungs and then hold the breath, and just let me know by raising your hand when you started the breath hold. Okay. So just keep holding the breath and then raise your hand again when you have that urge to breathe. Remember, don't push yourself too much. You shouldn't be gasping for air. It should just be a natural. Okay. So I was timing you. So I was timing you in seconds in terms of your breath hold. So I don't know if you could see that,
Okay.
12.02. So anything, so this was research done in 2017 by Kiesel and a few other people. And what they found was that if your breath, that breath hold, so that's your carbon dioxide tolerance, how much
Mm.
carbon dioxide can you tolerate? Okay. Then if you can, if it's over 25, then that's considered functional breathing. Okay. If it's
Ah.
under 25, there is an element of dysfunctional breathing or unhealthy breathing. So again, but to be fair, Leann, this
No, that's
should be
okay.
done. Yeah, this should be done. I'm not trying to sugarcoat it, but it should be
Yeah.
done first thing in the morning. Now, it's
Okay.
midday. So usually if you want to do this again and get a more accurate measure, do it first thing in the morning. Like when I'm in bed, before I even get up, I do my gratitude meditation, and then I do some breathing. And then right after that, I do this. And then that'll give
Mm.
you a more accurate representation of this assessment. Now, this assessment is called the BOLT score, by the Oxygen Advantage body oxygen level test. But it's also, it's really rooted in Buteyko method, which was he was doing breath work to help asthma patients, people with allergies back in the 70s. He's from Russia, the Buteyko method. Now there's a clinic, yeah, amazing stuff going on there. And so they call it the control pause. But the Oxygen
Mm.
Advantage, Patrick McEwen, he is a student of Buteyko. So he's taken a lot of stuff and kind of made it his own as well. So if you want to look more on this assessment, that's what it is. So basically, what does that mean? What does that mean, dysfunctional breathing or unhealthy breathing? Well, most probably, and by the way, about 90% of us are dysfunctional breathers. If you watch a baby breathe, Leann, I don't know if you watch a baby, what do? Their tummies
Oh,
rise and then comes down. So
yeah.
we are born naturally to breathe optimally, but then life gets in the way, stress gets in the way. And so what do? We screw it all up, right?
Yep.
We end up,
Humans.
exactly, we end up breathing more with our chest, with our upper chest, right? We forget about the lower part, which is the diaphragm, right? This beautiful muscle that's actually there to help to support. It's one of the largest muscles we have for breathing, and nobody really talks about its importance. It's the second heart, really, right? Next to the lung. So we want to actually breathe. Oh, so sorry. Dysfunctional breathing is more of this shallow, quick, upper chest breathing. And now there's a time and place for upper chest breathing, right? When you're exercising, when you're in danger, we need to, mobilize our extremities. So we're going to recruit that upper chest breathing. Why? Because that actually signals to the sympathetic nervous system, danger, danger, we got to get the heck out of here and, survive this attack or whatever. Or even actually, we know that exercises, hormesis, right? A really good stress, right? So again, it's needed. It's not like we shouldn't be doing it, but what's happening is modern day, we're always in our chest breathing. So we're always, think about it, we're always signaling to that sympathetic nervous system that we're in danger. And guess what? your body will not prioritize healing when it thinks it's gonna die, right? When
Mm,
it thinks it needs to support your survival, it's not going to heal your digestive system. There's no way. And that healing process happens in the parasympathetic nervous system. And we can, again, the body will not prioritize healing if it thinks it's in danger. It only heals when you are in a relaxed state. It makes sense, right? So what the another sign of dysfunctional breathing that actually induces this type of fast, shallow breathing, quick breathing. There's you sometimes you can hear people breathing, and now that
mhm.
I know this, I'm like, oh
Yes.
no, can I help them? Like I'm standing in line at a bank or something and I can hear them breathing. I'm like, oh no, should I turn around and tell them I'm a breathwork coach? And, because think about it, your lung capacity is directly correlated to your lifespan, right? We can go
Right.
days without food,
Yes.
months without food, days without
Yes.
water, but only a few minutes without breath. So really,
Yeah.
the faster you breathe, and there was a study done by yogis, and what they found was they did it on animals, but I'm sure we're not that much that different. But what they found is the faster the animal breathes, the shorter the life.
Yep.
Think of a turtle, right? Very slow breathers and their lifespan. And then think of a dog, right? And their lifespan is very short
Mm.
compared to the turtle. I feel the same way because we only have a limited number of breaths in our lives. So if we can control that, and I'll get to that in a minute, then obviously we increase the lifespan. So what is connected to this shallow, fast, erratic, no natural pause between the inhales and the exhales? Breathing, mouth breathing.
Mm.
Yes. So I always say the mouth is not for breathing, it's for talking. And of course, it's for kissing and singing. Right? The nose is for breathing. And I know most of us don't like our nose, but it's so intricately designed to
Mhm.
help us breathe, to moisten the air, to actually humidify it, there's it's antibacterial, antiviral properties, especially nitric oxide, right? That could only really be produced when we're nasal breathing. It's produced in the nasal passageways. So
Mm.
mouth breathing is detrimental. And I see so many people walking around with their mouths open, and sometimes even kids as well, when they're sleeping, we're like, oh, it's so cute that they're sleeping with their mouth open. And I'm like, no, tape their mouth, please, right?
Mhm.
Some traditions in Africa, some tribes in Africa, where the mothers would actually watch, and they still do this. They watch their children, their newborns or their toddlers, making sure that they sleep with their mouth closed, and that's why they
Mm.
have perfect teeth, right?
Mhm.
Because mouth breathing is detrimental, yes, and that's why we need more braces these days,
Mhm.
right? We didn't need braces, that many braces back then. Now I know every kid that I know has had braces, right? And it's a lot of it has to do because they're mouth breathing. So mouth breathing is very detrimental. If it's one thing that you're gonna get out of this video, is please be more aware of whether or not you are mouth breather. And really, if you're a mouth breather during the day, chances are you're gonna be a mouth breather at night. A quick fix, tape. You can tape your mouth. And when I say this, they're like, are you nuts? I won't be able to breathe. I don't mean like hostage style taping. No, I mean a simple, like the size of your index finger, and just going, vertically across. So I can still breathe, and I can
Mhm.
still,
Mhm.
but what it does is it trains your jaw to stay shut, your lips to stay closed as well, and it really works. And I can tell the difference. Like I'm not even a mouth breather, and I do it, but I can tell the difference when I don't do the mouth breathing, sorry, the mouth taping, and when I do. So try it. And you don't even
Yes.
need expensive tape. You can try surgical tape, right? You can definitely do that, and give it a go, because mouth breathing really, it's yeah, and about 60% of us are mouth breathers. Again, very
Mm.
high numbers, very high percentages, but it can be, easily fixed if you're aware of it, of course.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. And what you're saying, I actually, after you and I had like after I did a breathwork session with you, I did a little bit of that research and I saw like there's a book, I think it's called Jaws,
Ah,
I want to
yes.
say. Yeah.
Yes.
And
Yes.
how like the human, like how
Yes. It
different our skull and everything has changed because we mouth breathe. I'm like,
yes.
holy dynamite.
Yes, exactly. Even facial structures as well. I mean, it might be too late for people, way past their adolescent age, but you can, children still growing and developing up to 18, 21, you can still change their facial structure if it's
Mhm.
actually going that way because of their breathing. But I know lots of kids that needed braces, and their orthodontist recommended braces, they changed their breathing patterns and they don't no longer need braces because they actually made room for the teeth to come in, because it literally does change the way the mouth is shaped.
Mhm.
And yeah, and I know examples of kids that used to be mouth breathers and now they have asthma and they have respiratory
Mm,
problems, right?
mhm.
Or they're
Yeah.
constantly getting infections.
Mhm.
So yeah, there's definitely a link there. For sure there's a link
Yeah.
that's been ignored, or maybe it hasn't been, people forgot about it. But like I said, these tribes in Africa, the women know to make sure that the kids adopt this really healthy breathing habit of with their mouth closed, right? So yeah,
Yeah.
so just being more aware, and of
Mm.
course now telling your friends or your family members,
Right.
if you see them, close your
Mhm.
mouth, close your mouth, close your mouth, because
Mhm.
it is a habit, but you can break that habit.
Mhm.
So yeah, what
That's
else? There's so
interesting.
many, yeah, there's so many things. Cold hands and feet. If you think
Mm.
cold hands and feet are, just something that you have, no, there's a reason for it. It's poor circulation.
Mhm.
Oftentimes, when you're not breathing properly, oxygen is not getting to your cells, tissues, muscles, organs, and systems. And what that's going to cause, really, it's going, the thing about breathing, Leanne, it affects every single cell of your body, every single system.
Yeah.
So that poor circulation can translate into you having cold hands and feet as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I can totally see that. And
Mm.
I have Rita's human design chart up here on my other screen, and we don't know your exact date of birth.
Okay, so I'm going to
Oh,
Italy. I'm going to Italy in August. I will go
okay.
to the hospital. Yes, I'm getting
Yes.
my records.
Awesome. Awesome. So what I can tell here, of course, if there's a major change, it'll be shocking. But you're actually designed to be selling and sharing breath work with people. You're
Wow.
you're designed to like go through that grieving process
Ah.
and then share it with people. You're designed to go through these like miniature life crisis and share it with
Mm.
people so that they can tap into their breath work. Like this is a huge part of how you're designed to actually earn money is
Mm.
through exactly what we're doing here in this conversation and what you're doing in your business. Because not only is breath work super important, but it also helps with the nervous system, right? Of course, it helps with everything, but the nervous system and the primary, like the pH, the primary hydrogen that flows through the blood, has such a huge intricate part of our nervous system. So, do you go into like I know you went into parasympathetic and sympathetic. So, what other things would you say around the nervous system that could maybe tap our audience into how important the breath is? Is there anything else you want to share around that?
Yes, for sure. Fatigue, right? Weakness. Okay, so maybe that's a little bit more of the physical side, but headaches, dizziness,
Hmm.
mood, right? Stress, anxiety, depression. So 75 phobias as well.
Hmm.
75% of people with anxiety or panic disorder have some sort of dysfunctional breathing. 75%. Think about how many people were medicating when
Hmm.
maybe just a thought here, maybe asking them, how is your breathing pattern?
Hmm.
Because it can really affect their nervous system, right? You can, what I love about the breath, right, or breathing techniques or breath work, it can either upregulate your nervous system if you feel fatigued or tired. You can actually get more energized, and we can share a breath work for that. a breathwork technique for that if you want, or you can down regulate. Now, most people need the down regulation because we're too hyper, right? And maybe we're not physically hyper, but we're mentally, we're just blah, 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 always going, 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 going.
Yeah.
So then we need to down regulate. And that's how beautiful the breath. It really depends on what you need and what you want. And you can actually use it for both, to either down
Mm,
regulate or up regulate your nervous system. So yes,
okay.
and I love how you're saying about the pH. Yeah, for
Mhm,
sure. It can
mhm.
actually change the pH in the
Yeah,
body as well. So
yeah.
when we do hyperventilation, and that's more, you could probably guess, of a upper up of regulating your nervous system, right? It's the hyperventilation, like the fire breaths. If you're a yogi, those ones where you just literally just focus on the exhales and the inhales will happen naturally. Like if you want to feel energized, oh, you can definitely do that. So that hyperventilation is going to increase the carbon dioxide release, right? We're releasing a lot of carbon dioxide, which will change the pH pattern as well as the calcium in the body too. And that's why you may feel some tingling or sort of vibrating sensations when you're hyperventilating, right? When you like, so that, but hyperventilation, breath holds as well, what you just did. Now, we
Yeah.
didn't do it for long, but if you do breath holds for a little bit longer, again, we're increasing that carbon dioxide tolerance. And what you'll see, so this is a big myth that I want to bust right here as well. Most people think that when it comes to breathing, more is better. So that, heavy breathing, like just breathe is better. Actually, it's the opposite. When it comes to breathing, Leann, a healthy breathing mantra is less is more. We actually want to
Mm,
breathe less. And I know this sounds so paradoxical. Like, what are you talking about? Like, we need more air. We need to breathe in. No, because this was known in 1904. It's called the Bohr effect. That he discovered that basically the more tolerance, the more carbon dioxide we have in our bodies, right? So the less we release, because we release carbon dioxide, we inhale oxygen. So the less we release, the more the brain gets a signal to actually release oxygen into the cells, tissues, muscles, organs, and systems. Right. And people are
okay.
like, what? And this is why when we're having a panic attack or an anxiety attack, what comes to mind? The image of the brown paper bag where you're inhaling back your carbon dioxide. So we want to keep that carbon dioxide contained. We don't actually want to release it. Why? Because that releases oxygen from hemoglobin to get into your system. So the
Mm,
less you breathe, the more oxygen comes into your body. Isn't that crazy? The more it gets released and it
right.
circulates into the
Yeah.
body and it gets used up, right? So that's why if you feel tired, if you feel weak, or even before a presentation, I do breath holds now because I want to feel that excitement.
Mm,
I want to feel that energized. So I do breath holds before a presentation, right? Sometimes I jump around and do the Tony Robbins thing. He jumps on the trampoline, but I'm doing it with my mouth closed and not with, I don't want to release more carbon dioxide than I have to. When I have headaches, I literally, humming is the other one. Oh, I have to talk about humming. Maybe we could do humming too. But when I have headaches, which is very rare, but I still get them.
mhm.
And so it's usually my left side. So what I'll do is I will literally like visualize the breath going to that area of my head and then hum through the nose. So keeping my lips closed and humming through the nose. We can try
Mm,
this for a few seconds. So
sure.
it's inhale, and then we're gonna hum the exhale.
Mm, mm,
And even that microsecond for me was, I don't know, how was it for you?
mhm,
I know, right?
mhm,
Yes,
mhm.
it is so relaxing, so amazing. So what it does, and there's research on this, that just by thinking, just by sending the breath to that area, it opens
Mhm.
up the capillaries and sends fresh oxygenated blood to the area. But the humming, what it does. So we talked a little bit about nitric oxide being an antibacterial, antimicrobial, and antiviral. Actually, maybe I should ask you, do you know nitric oxide? A lot of people know nitrous oxide, which is the laughing gas. That would be fun too to do during a breath work. Everyone take in the nitrous oxide. No, this is nitric. So it's what they actually use in Viagra to
Oh,
open up capillaries in that area, right? Send blood to that area. But they were using it, and they still are, to help patients recover from COVID.
Oh, okay, okay.
So nitric oxide, amazing molecule, one of my favorite molecules, and it's antibacterial, antiviral, and antifungal as well. So what it does, so we produce it naturally with by nasal breathing alone. So if you're nasal breathing, you're good. If you want to
Mm,
increase that production of nitric oxide, which
mhm.
again, super powerful, right? All we need to do is hum through the nose and we can increase that production by 15-fold.
Jeez, hey?
Can you believe that? Yeah. So that's why kids are always so happy because they're always humming their favorite song. It literally reduces stress, anxiety, again, opening up those blood vessels and those capillaries, right? To help you gain more oxygen into circulation. So super, super simple. And again, available at our nose tip for free, right? Now
Right,
they're trying to sell these nitric oxide sprays, and I'm just like, you can just hum through your nose.
right. Can't make money off that, Rita. Come on now.
I know, exactly, right?
So
Yeah.
is that not the same thing that they need for like when you're having a heart attack? Isn't there something that they put under your tongue? Is that the same thing?
That's
Is
the
it?
aspirin. Yeah. Yeah. Same kind of, it thins the blood. That one
Yeah.
thins the blood.
Okay.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
Yep. Yep. Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. Because yeah. So that's very interesting.
Yes, yes. And another thing too, that this really surprised a lot of people because many of us have back pain, right? So 25% of people with lower back pain can be attributed to some sort of dysfunctional breathing. Why? The diaphragm, one of the largest muscles we have for breathing, can actually help with spinal stabilization. So the more you use it, it's a muscle. The better it
Yes.
works for you, the more you build it. The less you use it, you lose it. So
Yeah.
it can really help you with that stabilization of the spine, which can obviously help the lower back pain if it has to do with that. So I just I cannot stop talking about how amazing this diaphragm is. And nobody knows about it. Nobody really knows about it. It's got the largest number of lymph nodes. So actually, let me ask you this: did you
Hmm.
know when you lose weight, you're like, do you ever wonder where does it go? Right? Yeah, it turns into muscle. Yes, you pee it out, you poop it out. But did you know that 80% of it you were actually expelling it through your mouth, through the breath? It's crazy.
I did know that, but I forgot it. But now you're reminding me. So yes.
Yes,
Yep.
it's such
Yep.
a beautiful weight
Wow.
management. Yeah, and it's
Yes.
through effectively using the diaphragm. Yeah, and
Yeah.
of course the lymph nodes too, right? So we're detoxing every single time we take a deep breath into the diaphragm. We're literally detoxing. And, hence why
Yeah.
sometimes our breath smells too, right? We're literally
Yes.
expelling those
Yeah.
toxins through our breath. So important so the biochemical is that carbon dioxide tolerance to actually breathe less than we have to and breathe light. The diaphragm is the biomechanical aspect of it by actually using it. So, really feeling the diaphragm. And the best is if you want to, I'll demonstrate. If you bring your
Mhm.
hands close to your rib cage
Mhm.
and just breathe normally as you normally would, what's happening? What are you feeling? Are you feeling anything moving?
Mhm. It
Yeah.
expands down there.
Yes, so that means you're doing it right. Yes. So if on the inhales, that's another thing actually, Leanne, most of us do wrong. On the inhales, we actually breathe out. Like so we stick our bellies out. And
Yeah.
on the inhale, and then on the exhales, we stick our bellies in. That should be the opposite. So when we inhale, we want to expand the belly, expand the rib cage. And then when we exhale, we want to contract the belly or the diaphragm, contract the rib cage. That's what we want to be doing. So inhaling, expanding, and then exhaling, contracting. So that's the biomechanical. And then there's this physio psychological where you tapped into, which is the nervous system. And the thing to remember there is that we want to have a cadence to our breath.
Mm.
So really, really cool stuff. This was from the James Nestor's book, Breath. What he found was a lot of these traditional religious prayers, like the Ave Maria and the other like Hindu prayers, they all have this cadence of about 5.5 seconds in,
Mm.
5.5 seconds out. And turns out that that's the optimal cadence to be breathing when you're just, at your desk, you're doing something obviously not strenuous, right? Just to be aware if you can do that. And then you'd be surprised that most people cannot get to that. So what I
Mm,
recommend is start slow, maybe three
mhm,
breaths in and three breaths out, and then work your way up to that five. But that's the cadence that we should be aiming to
mm.
be breathing at. Yes. It's optimal to tap into the heart rate variability, tap into the vagus nerve, right? This beautiful cranial nerve that really sends messages to the brain that, again, we're safe, we're supported, we're okay, right? So that we can heal. And again, going back to that parasympathetic nervous system state where we kind of want to be in most of the time, right? Which is the opposite. We're mostly stressed out. So we
Yeah.
kind of want to bring our bodies back because it has this beautiful innate intelligence. My story, I think you remember, is I helped my blood sugar, like I helped to regulate my blood sugar, and I reversed my polycystic ovarian syndrome because
Yeah.
the body, that's how it works. It works in,
Yes.
it's an orchestra in unison, not in silos, right? It all
Yes.
works together. So you fix one thing, you support one aspect, and it'll actually help to
Yeah.
heal other aspects.
Yeah. Amazing. Amazing.
Mhm.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, and the dysfunction, I totally know that. So when I worked at the bank, I was there for 10 years and we purchased a farm. I can't remember how, maybe 7 years into my being at the bank. And oh my goodness, my back, like almost like where my
Mm.
bra would be, the
Mhm.
pain. I was like, "Oh, I can't take this pain." And then I realized, "Oh my god, it's because I am breathing totally opposite. I'm totally using my diaphragm against its natural rhythm." And not that I'm perfect at it, obviously, through my assessment, I can still tell I have dysfunction there. But bringing that awareness back to understanding how the diaphragm is designed to work and using it, like, I don't have that pain in my back like I used to. It
Mhm.
was,
Mhm.
like, almost debilitating, and, of course, I just gritted my teeth and I just kept going through, right? But recognizing the depth of how much, information is flows through that diaphragm and
Yes.
that muscle is, yeah, it was a real recognition for me to
Mhm.
understand that. Yeah,
Yes. To make your body functionally, like,
yeah,
optimize the functionality of your body. And it
mhm,
really goes into functional movement too. You cannot have functional movement if you don't have functional breathing.
yeah,
So it's
yeah,
optimizing that breathing through diaphragmatic breathing, and then that'll also, it goes hand in hand with the functional movement, which for most of us it gets manifested via or dysfunctional movement via back pain, right? So just, and it goes to show you, so many people are on meds,
mhm,
they
yep,
they do surgeries when maybe,
yes,
just maybe, it's a breathing problem, right? But
yep,
nobody questions that.
yeah,
No
yep,
doctor asks you, how is your breathing? How are you
right,
breathing? You want to do this
yep,
and I don't blame them. I mean, like you said, there's no money in it, right? I mean, there could be an exercising and physiotherapy. I'm sure
right,
physiotherapists use the breath, right? But not to this extent where
uh-uh,
it becomes, yeah, it's more manipulation, and chiropractors as well.
yes,
It's more of that physical, but not really taking
yeah,
into account how important the breath is. Yeah.
yeah. And I think kind of like how you had indicated there too is like we have specialists, right? We have all
Yes.
these silos in our quote unquote healthcare, which I think is just death management, truly, especially here in Canada. I don't think there's any health involved there, but it's so siloed that nobody is talking about the synthesis, the
Mhm.
assimilation of all of this, right? Like, so I'm just having conversation now with one of my husband's friends. He's there, like he's on the verge of being diabetic. And I'm like,
Mhm.
well, let's heal your gut, which breath work has a huge part, like all and putting this all together as well here is when we're breathing through our mouth, we're not like we're letting all that bacteria in there too, right?
Yes.
So the
Yes. All
nose,
that
like you
gunk.
say, filters all of that. I'm like,
Right.
let's heal your gut because once you heal your gut, your pancreas can heal. And he looked at me like I had two heads. Right? Because nobody's ever said, like, "What do you mean? What like,
Mhm.
do you mean that this organ actually is yeah, it's all intertwined."
Yeah.
So I love
Mhm.
that you're bringing this and really that breath and recognizing when we do breathe through the mouth, which I just did, "Oh, okay, I'm introducing probably bacteria into my system
Mhm. Yeah.
that's not necessary."
Right, exactly.
Right?
Yeah. And it's not
Yeah.
being filtered. Right.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. If you think about it, it has it's a much bigger opening than your nostrils, right? And your
Yeah.
nostrils have the little hair going in there, again,
Yes.
protecting yourself, right? Protecting your
Yeah.
system, right? It's the first line of defense.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
So
Yep.
it's about immunity, how important breathing
Mhm.
is. And really, were they talking about it during the great pandemic? No, but
No.
it's one of the things that we should be taking care of
Yes.
ourselves because
Yeah.
it's our first line of defense is the nose, right?
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah.
Amazing, amazing. Okay, so do you wanna play and do any kind of, do you wanna do a little demonstration?
Yes, I would
Okay.
love to.
Okay.
So, can I play music or no? Do you know? Because I
You should be able to,
or we don't have to. We
because
can just.
if you share your screen, then you can play it, but if you play it, I don't how will your do you have something to play it on so that your speaker will pick it up?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Okay.
So host disabled, participant
Okay.
sharing.
Yeah. Okay. Um, yeah, okay. So if you share something, you should be able to. It's
There.
funny, my husband's a smoker, so
Mhm,
he does a lot of, like, very, very super shallow breaths, and I'm like,
mhm,
"You sound
mhm,
like you just ran a marathon." Like, "What
exactly.
are you doing?"
Yes, yes. Get them to
Ace.
eat a lot of vitamin C.
Okay,
Okay, so we're going to start with just can you hear this, Leanne?
I can.
Yeah?
Yep. Yep.
Okay, so we're just gonna start with a couple of minutes just to get into our bodies and just get out of our heads.
You might wanna turn the music down just a tad, just a
Oh,
tiny, tiny bit.
there. How
Okay,
about
there
now?
we go. Perfect,
Okay.
good. Yep.
So just getting into our heads. Sorry, not into our heads. We're into our heads all the time. Getting out of our heads. Yes, out of our heads. And just connecting with our body. Maybe connecting with parts of our bodies that, we might feel some stiffness or tension and just moving those parts, whatever way feels good. Maybe shaking, yeah, vibrating, going a little bit faster, and just releasing, maybe stretching that part of the body. If it's your neck, maybe making circles with your chin one way and then the other way. Just kind of getting in touch with what is happening with our bodies right now. And just start breathing deeply into those areas. Maybe shaking our heads. Yes, no, sideways. And we hold a lot of tension in our shoulders, maybe rolling our shoulders back and then front. And also our hips. We hold a lot of tension in our hips. Very nice. Okay, now I invite you, if you can, with your eyes still closed, to just tune out the outer world and begin breathing to the count of 4 breaths in, or 4 count breaths in, and then 4 count breaths out. So give yourself some room, right, to make sure that you complete the breath in 4 counts, and then let go in 4 counts. And then we're just going to play around with the pace and tempo, and then I'll surprise you. So we're going to pick it up in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's begin breathing in 2, 3, 4, and then out. 2, 3, 4. Breathe in. 2, 3, 4. Out. 2, 3, 4. Let's go in, allowing the belly to expand, the rib cage, and then letting go. That's it. If you want to breathe in through the nose and out through the nose, you're welcome. Or in through the nose and out through the mouth, and just release with a sigh. That's welcome too. Now, I know I said mouth breathing is detrimental, but for a tiny few exercises here and there, it's okay. Whatever feels comfortable, we're going to keep breathing, and we're going to pick up the pace to the count of 2. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go. In, 2, out, 2. In, 2, out, 2. That's it. Feeling yourself just release, allowing those inhales to come in, expanding the body, and then letting go. We're going to pick it up one more time to those air breaths, and these are to the count of 1. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go. In, out, in, out, in, out. So we're going a little bit more aggressive now. There's going to be some chest movement. That's okay. Just keep breathing, really feeling the breath invigorating each and every single cell of the body. And I love this because the breath will show you what you need, whether it's energy to invigorate and energize, or maybe the invigoration will help you relax. So just be open to whatever you may be feeling or you are feeling. Very nice. You're doing amazing. We're going to pick up the speed one more time, I promise. We're going to go as fast, as aggressive as we can. Breathe quickly, either in through the nose and out through the nose, or in through the nose and out through the mouth, or just in and out through the mouth. So we're going to go as fast as we can. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Amazing. Keep going. Really working that belly. These are called the fire breaths. So allow these breaths of fire to transform whatever needs to be transformed. That's it. Yes. Maybe some limiting beliefs or negative self-talk that you just kind of want to get rid of. Burn it in these breaths of fire, and these in your belly. Feel that fire in the belly. That's it. We're going to actually breathe in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Take a nice deep belly breath in through the nose, and then hold it. Hold the breath. Feel the stillness of the hold. And then we're going to hum through the nose. Keep your lips closed. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release. Beautiful. Just keep breathing as you normally would now, just settling in. Just staying with the sensations you're feeling. If you're feeling any sensations, tapping into those. Tapping into your body, connecting with your body, being in tune, so that you are more alert and just aware when something is not right, that's off balance. The body loves to give us signs and signals and symptoms, and just you'll be more attuned if you learn to just appreciate and connect with your body. Tap into the intelligence of the body. That's it. I invite you to repeat after me with your inner voice. May I be healthy. May I be happy. May I have peace of mind. May I cultivate self-compassion. May I love myself for who I am, all of my gifts, my qualities, and even my imperfections. Take a nice belly breath in through the nose. And then just let it go with a sigh. Open your mouth. Whenever you're ready, slowly open your eyes.
Rita, I wish you lived with me and you could do this with me every morning. Oh, I feel like $1 million after you and I have a session. I love it. Love it. Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you. You're welcome. So
So
fun.
as we close up in this, in this big old container of yumminess, is there any last words of wisdom that you would like to drop into the audience?
Yes. When you can control your breath, which we said we can either upregulate or downregulate, go fast, slow, light, heavy, deep, no one can take away your peace. So, whatever triggers
Mm.
you, whatever comes your way, you know that you have this amazing tool, this amazing companion that will be there always to help you when you're at your lowest, when you are feeling the worst. You can always tap into this breath and it'll always be there. And that's the beauty of this, that you can take it with you wherever. You have these beautiful online breathing techniques you can tap into, offline breathing techniques as well that you can practice, before bed or before when you first wake up in the morning, but it's always there, always available, this very loyal tool that you have. And you saw how quickly you can transcend into a different state just by changing your breath. So yeah, and just fitting it into your everyday. Doesn't You don't really need to be a monk sitting under a tree to practice breath work. Like some of the ways that I practice, like I said, first thing in the morning before I do anything, like literally you have 3 minutes. Even if the kids are jumping on the bed, you can tell them 1 second, right? You have those 3, 4, 5 minutes. It doesn't have to be 20-minute practice. I do these at red lights. I call them red lights, little breath breaks, right? Everyone stops at a red light. Instead of checking your phone, you can do a mini little session. Actual, when you're washing dishes, loading the dishwasher, like in the shower, there's just so many little opportunities when you're in line. Again, instead of scrolling your phone and different social media, like you can do some breathing techniques, right? And that's what I love about the versatility of breathing. It could be done anywhere, and also habit stacking. So stacking it with current things that you're already doing, like taking walks and incorporating breathing into it. So super easy. If you really, there's a will, there's going to be a way. And in order for you to be, disciplined and committed to it, you really need to understand and value the
Mm.
importance of it. So I would urge you to try it and see if it resonates. And then, yes, like it's going to change your life.
Yes. I love it. I love it. So everything that you need to know about Rita is going to be in the description. She is kindly given a space for you guys to hang out on moon meditations and breathwork sessions and everything that you need to know about Rita, all of her offerings as well. She's going to be in New York at a conference in July, sharing her wisdom about breath to a group of people that most likely has lived in their heads their whole lives. So this is really exciting to hear this. And I just want to bring a little bit of human design into this just as we close up. So if anybody's been here for this, the one gate that is so important for breath work is gate 6. And this is a part of Rita's design. And why gate 6 is so important for breath work is I love the word loyal. I love that. I heard that when you just said that. Because the breath is loyal to us. It's happening. It's happening for us, and we can work with it or against it, depending on how dysfunctional or functional we choose to be. As well, it's going to really repair the nervous system, and we are like in this fight, flight, freeze, fawn so much in our world that we are way overregulated. And practice like this, doing this intentionally and repairing the body is so important. And this is a huge part of Rita's design. So
That's
so
so
fun.
beautiful.
It
Yes.
is. It's so
I'm
fun.
in alignment. That's why I feel so good. And it's
Yes.
so fun.
Yes.
Exactly. It's just
Yeah.
so fun.
It
Yes.
is. It is.
Hmm.
And yeah, I could say 1,000 things. But okay. So I don't know if I want to go yet, but is there anything else you want to say? Is there anything else you want to say? I know that you
uh,
could probably talk about this for hours, just like I
oh,
could with human design as
yes.
well, right? But
It's so true. Well, maybe I'll talk a little bit about the freebies. There is
sure.
a 9 vital breathing technique. So it's something that you can download. And the beauty of it, it'll give you the technique. So it's 9 techniques, why, when you should use them, how to actually do it. And then there's also a video to my YouTube channel that I actually demonstrate how to do them. So super
Nice.
cool. Yeah, like, and it's free. And yeah, tap into that, tap into those free resources for sure. And then I'm also I have an online course, and which is healthy breathing habits. So what are
Mm,
some of the, how to actually practice some of those things that we talked about? How can we breathe deeper as opposed to, like, more shallow, right? How do we breathe light? So that's sort
mm,
of, that gives demonstrations and techniques for that. And then yes, every new moon and full moon I have the breathwork experiences
mm.
online. And yes, you're more than welcome to join. If it's your first time, there's a very gracious 50% discount for your community. So they can just put in the discount, breathe 50, that's the discount. So yeah, just
Love
all
it.
of these amazing opportunities for you to try it and tap into it. Like I said, just give it a go and see
Yes.
what you think of this beautiful modality that has really changed my life. And so I have so many beautiful breathwork stories of people
Love
like
it.
literally tapping into amazing healing potential of not
Mm.
only our body but our mind, emotions
Yes.
as well. So just, it's just so beautiful. And it's again so easy because like even what we did today, one of
Yeah.
the techniques really resonated with you. Go ahead, like make it your own,
Hmm.
do what works
Hmm.
for you, like, and really integrate it into your everyday, and see what happens, and try it for a week and you'll love it. It's so
Hmm.
addictive, right? Like I can't do
Hmm.
anything now without doing some sort of breathing. And that, even me, I start my podcast with always a breathing technique. So yeah, just getting into these little ways, integrating them into your everyday. And I promise you, it's not extra work. It's not at
Right.
all. It just
Right.
becomes part of your life, right? And you wouldn't do without. It's just like drinking water for
Right.
for those of us that like to drink water, right? Because we
Yeah.
need it. It's so
Yeah.
essential.
Yeah. So what's the other day I was watching I don't even know what the heck I was watching, something anyways, and they were talking about like when there was like the hydrogen
Hmm.
balloon airplanes or whatever, right? So hydrogen like floats us, right? Brings us up, brings us. And then I'm like, oh, okay. So the pH, the primary hydrogen of our blood, when we're doing the proper breath work, can actually enlighten us, make us
Mm.
lighter, make us feel like we're, witnessing our lives instead of, trudging through the
Mhm.
mud and the muck of life. So, well, I put those two together the other day and I thought, okay, this is fun to hear just before you and I have a conversation about this, right? It's so fun
That's
to just
true.
put that together. So,
Mhm, mhm.
yeah, yeah, love it.
Yes.
Well, Rita, I greatly appreciate our time together. I so love your kindness and compassion and your passion for this and your capacity to change the world one breath at a time, my friend. I
Thank
love it.
you. Oh,
I
thank you
love it.
so much for giving me the opportunity to share this with your
Yes.
beautiful community. You're such an amazing soul. And even offline, you're giving me some amazing advice and recommendations. So I thank you for the amazing work that you're doing too.
Awesome. Awesome. So if anybody wants to get a hold of Rita, everything's below. She's very generous. As you can see, she's very kind and compassionate and loves this. And it can heal your body. It can change the way you operate. And what I love is that it's opening up the intelligence of the body so that the
Mm.
decision-making process of human design can actually operate in a more clean, concise, and cohesive manner when the intelligence of the body is forefront instead of the narration of the mind. So thank you, Rita. Take care.
Amazing. Thank you.